everyone. Welcome to the show. You are listening to Game Club from Wannabe Critic Productions. I am one of your hosts, Gabriel Fast, and joining me tonight is one Mikey Collins. Mikey, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Nothing is working.
Yeah, we just spent like half an hour trying to get Mikey's computer to continue working, but you know it didn't happen.
Seems like peace.
It's okay. Get a new computer. Anyways, today we're going to be concluding our Uncharted reviews with not a half-hearted review, but the fact of the matter is that only one of us actually beat the game. So I spent a good amount of time with it. I really did, but I just kind of ran out of time, and Mikey is going to be kind of not leading it, but just kind of wrapping some things up. So there's going to be full-on spoilers for Uncharted Lost Legacy. Read the synopsis here in a minute, of course. But Mikey, it's been a while since we've done one of these. How have you been?
I've been good. Kind of had a rough time lately. A lot of people are dying right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. There's
not to bring the mood down.
Yeah, not to bring it down or anything, but yeah, no, it's hang in there, man. It'll get better for sure.
Everybody at the beginning of the episode's like click.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Last time we were here, though, we reviewed Uncharted 4, you and I. There's been a multitude of Uncharted discussion, though, at least in my life. Me and Ethan were talking about Uncharted the other day on Punch Counterpunch. And he said he didn't agree with our takes on Uncharted 2.
Of course he didn't.
Yeah.
He can never say it to my face.
Well, yeah, it's because he doesn't have a PlayStation. You know what I mean? He can't. No. No, I'm just kidding. So I went back and I played a little bit of this game. You had finished it pretty fast. And it just turned into one of those things where I like this game and I am going to finish it, but with lots of games coming out in the next few months, and there's a new season of Destiny coming out, and just a lot of these things that are happening, I figured and we have plans for this podcast as well. I was like, okay, well, let's just have fun with this last one, because it's not really a main entry into the story, but it is a quality game, and I think it's worth talking about for a shorter show. So I will say Uncharted Lost Legacy was released August 22nd, 2017. It just had its 5-year or 4-year anniversary. Is that right? 17, 18, 19, 20. Long? Yeah, so it's been out for 4 years.
Whoa.
Released shortly after Uncharted 4. It's the standalone expansion to Uncharted 4. Yep. It's the first Uncharted game not to feature protagonist Nathan Drake. I will read the plot and we'll take it from there. In India, treasure hunter Chloe Fraser searches for the legendary tusk of Ganesh, the son of the Hindu god Shiva, who lost the tusk while defending his father's temple. Chloe's own father was killed by bandits while searching for the tusk. Chloe slips past insurgents and meets up with mercenary Nadine Ross. They sneak into the office of the insurgents leader, Asav, who is, Asav, a former acquaintance of Nadine, who wants to use the tusk to rally to India in a civil war. Chloe and Nadine steal a map pointing toward the tusk within the ancient Hoysala Empire, and a disc that acts as a key. There's a lot more, but basically they find themselves in India looking for this thing, very much in an Uncharted style fashion. And it just kind of goes along. It's about 8 hours, right? Would you say?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not quite as long though as a regular Uncharted game though, correct?
No, not even close. No.
Yeah. It's something like, how many chapters is it? Like something like 10 or 12, like 12 chapters, something like that.
I didn't keep track. I just played.
Yeah.
I never pay attention to the chapter thing in these games. I should.
But. Yeah. Some development notes. It says Naughty Dog began developing the Lost Legacy following the release of Uncharted 4 in May 2016, initially exploring narrative ideas. Kurt Morganow and Sean Askag were chosen to lead development as game director and creative director. Says that Askag was chosen for his understanding of narrative structure. The game's original score was written by Henry Jackman, who previously composed Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 has a great score. Says while the development team initially contemplated creating Uncharted 5, they opted to create downloadable content for Uncharted 4 as the simultaneous development of The Last of Us Part 2 led them to favor a more condensed story for a sooner release, which is, fancy speak for they wanted to have plenty of cash flow coming in while they were working on this project that wasn't going to be done for quite some time. Says The Lost Legacy was announced at the PlayStation Experience event on December 4th, 2016, along its debut gameplay trailer. So there you have it.
Right on.
I really enjoyed what I had played of this game. One thing that I always appreciate about Naughty Dog, and it's kind of crazy because I picked this game up on sale back in like 2018. Mm-hmm. What's crazy about this game is it has all of the Naughty Dog isms present here. Like it's just literally just a condensed version of what we've gotten in the last games. And the biggest thing, and I think I might even like this one, or this one might be a little more interesting to me in the sense that these are characters that are in the same world as Nathan Drake, and we're familiar with Chloe, of course, but Nadine we never really ran into anywhere else, correct? Because she wasn't in 4, right?
Nadine what?
Was Nadine in 4?
Yeah.
Is she?
She's she's the owner of Shoreline.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
She might not be I don't think
she was the person that partnered with Wraith or whatever. That's right.
Richie Rich.
Yeah, Richie Rich. Yeah. That's right. Sorry, it took me a minute. I was like, where have I seen her before? But no, I enjoyed it, and it was kind of cool to kind of see them come together, and they play well off of each other. Yeah. What was kind of your take overall on this game?
I enjoyed it. It was nice. I mean, their relationship's pretty cool, but I mean, if you didn't even get to the end, you didn't even play the best part. There's a third member to the crew.
What?
Nate's brother.
Really?
Yeah, he's through basically the second half of the game. He's with all the girls the whole time, and they're just so mean to him the whole time.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's really funny. And he's like, I'm pretty sure him and Nadine, because like Nadine hated him in 4, but like they're flirting so hard like through the whole game. It's so funny.
Dang. Yeah. Well, I must have played. I probably played right about half of it then, because
probably, yeah, because he comes in and you're like, what the heck is he doing here?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that makes me more interested. And I think the thing that made me stop playing was it's a issue I have with the rest of the Uncharted games is I'm just not very good at puzzles. And at the time it was like, no, I'm not going to look this up. Like, I just want to think about it. And I just ended up getting distracted. And
did you quit at the big one? Which one were you struggling with? Was it the mirrors?
Something where I had to match something. Like I had to go to a few different places and like, it was like a symbols match, I think, or maybe it was an order puzzle or something.
There's one room with like the statue, like there's like a statue that you have to adjust arms. And then it's like a whole nother part of the puzzle is in the same room, but it's just higher up. I forget what it was called, but it was like for them to find an entrance. I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah. I need to, it was definitely a puzzle that was irritating me. And that was the thing that defeated me. Yeah.
I played this in chunks, so I don't remember a couple of the more like the earlier stuff. But I don't know, like just after 4, these just weren't as interesting to me because I think 4 nailed it. And these ones, they were cool. Like there was some really cool moments in this game where just visually that were way cooler than some of 4,
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I think there's even kind of for all intents and purposes, like I think they even did better with some of the gameplay here.
Some of it. Yeah.
And like, I don't know, some of the run and gunning was a little bit different. And I don't know, like the combat, first of all, it looks just as good. If like you said, it looks just as good, if not better in some places. But then, some of the action sequences were even kind of like, I don't know, like just playing as a girl just was different, it just felt different. but they still like, you never really felt like they couldn't, take care of business, obviously. And I liked the communication, how they were always like kind of yelling at each other. It's like, hey, like, are you okay? You know, and, you know, like talking like, man, that was kind of crazy. Just kind of like the Uncharted, you know, kind of like with Nate and Sully type thing, or Nate and his brother. That it's like the same thing with just different characters, and I really enjoyed that.
Remind me of Nathan's brother's name.
Sam. That's it. Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
Sorry. What was your question?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think that like, how do you think this game compares into something like The Last of Us?
In what way? What do you mean?
Like, do you feel like they're just as good quality wise in terms of gameplay?
Compared to which one?
Let's use number one.
Better.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't know. I think in some ways, even probably better than two.
Yeah, because you can, like
that was one thing I was noticing this past time I was playing was like just the gunplay. To me, the gunplay felt the best here and this one versus pretty much any of the other ones, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, it just feels like there was something that feels like, I mean, what's your take like on the gameplay in this game?
I like it. I mean, I've always enjoyed the gameplay. Like, I mean, I know you've always struggled with the gun stuff, like like non-responsiveness, but I've always enjoyed it. I don't know. That's kind of like Naughty Dog's thing with like any of their combat. It's like, this is really, really hard. And for me, I've never felt like it's the game's fault. I feel like, man, I just got to get better because this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know the mechanics that well when I'm struggling, which makes me want to play more. That's something I've always appreciated about these games.
I think too, the past time playing through all these other Uncharted games, it was like realizing that the encounters, like the combat encounters, are basically like a puzzle in of themselves, pretty much like figuring out the best paths to take, or I could go that way, but that may not be the best way or the most efficient way. I think that definitely helps with kind of planning your route, so to speak. What about sound design? How do you think the guns sound, and like voice acting overall, like score, everything?
I mean, the score was, we played so much Uncharted. When I finished this game, nothing really stands out to me in this game. And I've done so much hunting. For one thing, for me, this shows the difference in quality. Maybe it might be partially because of the name, but you can easily find the Lost Legacy album on vinyl, like still. Even the recolor, which is, like a recolor or like a multicolor vinyl is very hard to find video game wise, but you can find that one anywhere. You still can't find 1 through 4 Uncharted anywhere. So, and I can't really remember any of the story beats musically in this DLC, but like I said, I did end up chopping it up. So that may be why it's hindering my memory on that, but I don't remember it being bad. I mean, it's good music. I mean, it's Uncharted, but I really, the story was what captivated me more than anything in this one, which is completely different from all my other experiences with Uncharted games, because it was always the music and just like the puzzles and, but yeah, the story was just pretty good. It was kind of campy sometimes, but I mean, isn't Uncharted? Isn't that the whole basis?
Yeah. I mean, how did you feel at the end of it? Like, do they tie back?
Dude, I wish you would have beat it, because they're definitely, if they're working on an Uncharted now, it's probably going to be about those 3 people.
Really?
I doubt it's about Nathan anymore.
Huh.
Okay. Because it's basically, I don't want to spoil it for you, because it's actually kind of good. I mean, it's pretty good. And you're just like, oh yeah, I could totally play more of this.
Okay.
Because they basically bring all the characters together, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a great trio, actually.
Okay. Yeah, you don't
It's
don't
pretty
spoil it.
cool.
I was gonna have you spoil it, but if you're
It's
insistent.
worth playing and not knowing the end.
Okay.
It's not like I'm trying to compare it to something. I don't know. It's a really good DLC. It's probably one of the best DLCs I've ever played, to be honest. Like,
that's kind of where I was feeling with it. Like it really does feel like a fully fleshed out game. And it's
it
kind of like
does.
it's like the Miles Morales of Uncharted,
Kind
pretty
of.
much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
because it's like, and it's also, and it doesn't end when you think it's going to end either, which I kind of liked. Like, because
yeah.
it just kind of keeps going, but it doesn't feel too long at the same time.
Well, in this one too, even in the first half, like this one did something where it was like, it's kind of how Miles Morales felt, where it's like, yes, this is the same gameplay that I've played before, you know,
Yeah.
and yes, this is like this is a super similar thing that I've done before, yet it feels different. You know, Miles' story and Spider-Man feels completely different to Peter's story, whereas Nadine and Chloe's journey felt completely different to Nathan's journey. And it really made, like, the mechanics were the same, but the game feels a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, whenever you can innovate on something that's already really good, that's impressive to me. Like, that's really, really cool to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will definitely finish it for sure.
Yeah.
Was there anything that, oh, go ahead.
I just like how they kind of leave it open ended and they leave it open ended. And I kind of sat there and thought about it after the credits started rolling, because I was like, man, they could literally take Uncharted and do whatever they wanted. They've done kind of off the wall things. I mean, you were fighting Yetis, for God's sakes, and one of them. But I mean, they could literally do anything like they wanted to, because if Nathan is out of the picture, and I like how they rounded out Nathan's story at the end of 4, but they didn't really say what Sam was doing. You know, he was hanging out with Sully, but you don't really know what he was doing, you know, for all those years. So they could easily make a bunch of games if they wanted to with this crew, and then bring Nathan in as a cameo, or bring Nathan as a Sam character, you know.
Yeah. Like, he just
Once or
kind of
twice.
alongside that would be cool. I think that's the thing that fans would really appreciate, because I think I give Nathan Drake like a bad rap because I'm like, oh, I just don't like him that much, or whatever. I like him. I don't love him as much as everyone else does. Like, if a new Uncharted game comes out for PS5, which you know it will, and
For
honestly, if this Ultimate Collection that's rumored is supposed to come out for PS5, you know I'll play it. Like, you know I'll buy it. It'll be, how rad would it be to have all of them, including the one that Sony Ben did for Vita? That would be awesome to have that.
Mm-hmm.
It probably won't happen, but if it did, it'd be rad.
Yeah.
Especially since it would be so easy to like utilize the touchpad for certain things, like for the Vita and stuff like that. We had toyed with the idea of doing a Vita review, but it wouldn't quite be the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. Yeah, no, I am excited to finish it, and I definitely will at some point. And I have nothing. It's one of those things, like, I'm kind of just agreeing with everything you're saying, or like just saying like, oh, that's interesting, like, versus stuff that you do say. Hey, what is on your ceiling?
A projector thing.
Oh, a projector. Okay, nice.
It's a nebula.
Nice. I was say I had one of those at one point, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. Anyways, it's one of those things. I don't have much negative to say about this game because obviously I didn't finish it. I don't have much skin in that regard. Was there anything that you you weren't crazy about?
Chloe, like, I didn't really like her in the Uncharted series that much, but I don't know. I do like her character, and this DLC really like builds on the good parts of Chloe and fleshes out her character more, especially towards the end, like, because you get to, like, you'll see. But I don't know. I still kind of struggle with her character a little bit, because I think it's the Tomb Raider effect, because I played the Tomb Raider series, and it is the strong female, like, always does the right thing, and is like, but she's hardcore at the same time, you know? That's the exact character they did for Chloe. So she's basically Lara Croft, and she's English, pretty sure. Isn't Chloe English?
She's Australian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all the same.
Oh, wow.
No,
okay.
but I don't know. Part of me thinks they could do a trilogy or do another game with that trio, but I'm also kind of scared about that because it does feel like
Tomb Raider. Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like it.
It's it's kind of funny you say that because I actually never made that connection before. But now that you say that, yeah, she totally does feel like Laura Croft. And she even looks like her kind of.
And that's why I'm like, maybe they'll do a game from Sam's perspective. That'd be cool. I don't know though, because it is a little different from Tomb Raider because you have two strong women, like female leads. Because like Nadine's like a boss, but Chloe's more like the agile one. So it's not really a solely Nate thing. So it is different and it is cool.
Dude, but I just got a good idea.
Huh.
What if you play as Nathan's daughter in the next game and she joins up with Chloe and Nadine?
Be like as a kid?
It'd be like Charlie's Angels.
Like as a kid?
No, I guess Chloe and Nadine would probably be too old at that point.
Yeah, because how old is she? She's like 12 in the deal at the end of 4.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Chloe's, they'd be in their 50s or something. I don't know how
that'd be pretty rad.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if she was gonna do that, I'd rather it be Nathan.
Yeah.
But I don't
Nathan
know.
Is like
I don't know.
Sully type.
I'm interested to see if they do make another game because
they are. They're going to.
I don't know. I don't know what they do though, because if they do that, I don't think it's gonna be received well. I think it's gonna be like the DLC where everybody's just like, "Yeah, I played it. It was cool." It's not gonna be like, "Oh my god, did you hear there's another Uncharted coming out?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Well, here's the thing. I agree and I don't agree. I agree.
It depends on how they do it.
I agree in the sense that if they make another Uncharted game, anything Naughty Dog puts out now can't miss. Like basically, like it can't miss. Like they just, as long as they basically
gonna sell.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they stick to their formula relatively close, like it's not gonna miss. It won't miss. People will love it.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean.
But
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, but if they do something that is going to speak to the fans of Uncharted, because really the Uncharted fans are kind of what built Naughty Dog.
For sure.
Especially the past 10 or so years, 10, 15 years at this point. If they do something to appeal to those fans, because now, I mean, the Naughty Dog audience has really broadened out. It is a much bigger thing. I mean, you have people going back and playing, Jack and Daxter, and people going back to play Crash and stuff. And which, of course, those remakes, not quite the same thing, but still, Jack and Daxter and all that, like they've built out a good swath of fans, but the people that are going to freak out are going to be the people that literally have been there since day one for Uncharted, like Uncharted 1, basically.
Yeah.
And if they could do something kind of like what you're saying, like if they do something to appeal specifically to those fans, I think the rest of the audience will like piggyback off of that and like really, really, really love it.
You know what I think might work? They're already Indiana Jones in it,
Yeah.
Young Sully.
That'd be cool.
And just show his backstory because you don't really know a lot of it.
Yeah, he was kind of just like a James Bond Indiana Jones.
Taught Nathan.
He
taught Nathan everything. That would be a cool, more kind of like a Uncharted 2 where it's more espionage.
Yeah.
And still treasure hunty because everybody loved so everybody's like Uncharted 2 is the best. I'm Ethan Mastery. It's the best. I'm just kidding, but I like that game. Kind of. It just, I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see that trio like. Man, I don't know. Because I want something different a little bit, kind of, because I love Uncharted, but it's I don't know, but I think that's my biggest problem. I just can't see where they would go with the story that would actually be interesting.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want more Uncharted. It's that what else is there? I mean,
well, Nathan Drake was kind of the thing that epitomized the Uncharted series, and everything else was support. And it's great. We had, Lost Legacy that did really, really well, and people love that game too. And you have obviously, you have you have a really good voice cast, obviously, for it, and people love those characters. So it's not to say that it couldn't happen, but to say that it's going to have the same weight as, even if it was solely, to say that it would have, I mean, it would be kind of cool to see like a young Nathan Drake and Sam type thing, like kind of pull like a Red Dead scenario where like Nathan Drake plays like a secondary character, kind of like what you're saying before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after this game, that is the big question, is like, where are they going to go next with Uncharted? Like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. And which is a good question to have, because that there's fans out there hankering for it, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to one up themselves anymore, especially getting rid of that old cast, because it's not being like, oh, this one's bigger and better than ever. It's going to be like, oh, here's new people that I barely know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
They would almost have to like make it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a hard, like it's going to be hard to outdo themselves, kind of like what you're saying before.
You may, or what would be cool is kind of bring it back to basics, and do some character building, and instead of, because I trust Naughty Dog, because they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
And if they do decide to, I'm sure it's going to be fun, but
it would be cool to have like a prequel-esque.
I think that would be awesome. Like, or even just one.
Yeah, one. Like, yeah, I mean, a couple. I mean, 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, I think if you release one prequel game, Uncharted fans will go nuts. Like,
dude, yeah, like, or be like 1, 2, and 3 all together for like Sully's story, and just start when he's a kid, and then just time jump through one game. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And like, you just gain abilities as you go through his storyline.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then, and then literally, you just like that, stop at the day you meet Nate.
The day you meet Nate. That'd be cool. Yeah, people would dig it.
Yeah.
No.
And build on those characters that I didn't like in 2.
Yeah, make that feel like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean in 3?
No. Oh yeah, that was 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm getting those mixed up, man.
Yeah, they are kind of synonymous. So I don't have anything else to say really about this game, unless you want to add something. I said it was going to be a shorter review, just to make sure that we could cover it, because you beat it. What would you what's your final thoughts, and what would you give this bad boy number wise?
Definitely play it. If you like Uncharted, you'll like this. There's some really cool vibes. It's very, if you like the atmosphere of Uncharted, you'll definitely like this, even though it's different characters and they do have callbacks and stuff. Man, what would I rate it? What did I rate 4 at? If I'm going to rate this, did I give it a 10? Probably.
I think you gave it a 9.
Did I give it a 9? 7 feels too low, but an 8 feels too high. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I think that's fair.
Because it's not, and I feel like that makes it sound like I didn't like the game, but I did. I did like the game. It just felt like more Uncharted, but with B characters, which is cool, but I'm more interested to see what they have in the future. So I think that's why I didn't have as much fun with this game. But I don't know. I'm hopeful for the future, because they have, the world is their oyster at this point. I'm just nervous. That's a good word. Nervous to see what they do, because I don't want them to mess up that story.
And they won't. That's why we haven't heard anything about Uncharted in a long time. They're taking their time with it. And I mean, good God, they took 6-7 years to say anything about The Last of Us. So
I know.
Uncharted's their baby just as much as The Last of Us is, and whenever the time is right, we'll know more for sure.
Yeah.
So, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Mikey gives it a 7.5. I did not finish it, so I'm not going to give. I kind of gave my opinions. It has a 94% on Google users. 94% like this game. So, give it a shot. If it goes on sale all the time, it came out 4 years ago. I'm sure it's on sale right now, and definitely give it a shot. So that's going to wrap it up for us here today. Like I said, kind of a shorter like side quest episode type thing. But Mikey, I appreciate you taking the time to sit and talk with me for a little bit and give your thoughts on this game since I couldn't finish it. It's going to be a busy fall. So wanted to make sure we slid this one in, and who knows, maybe we'll come back to the Vita game at some point. I don't know. We'll see.
Perhaps.
But stay tuned for our next project, ladies and gentlemen. With the announcement of Halo Infinite, we are eagerly awaiting a date, obviously, and we have episodes ready to go in the chamber for Game Club. So definitely stay tuned. Me and Tristan Twitch are going to be covering those, and then obviously stay tuned for other games that we'll be covering as well. So write to us at the wannabecollective@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing. We would appreciate it. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts. And yeah, Mikey, say goodbye.
I bid you adieu.
All right. Well, whatever possessed you to check out any of the content that you saw today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If you check the description down below, you'll see that there's a variety of different projects that I'm associated with. This is Wannabe Critic Productions after all. So I just wanted to say, if you enjoyed what you saw today, consider giving some of those other projects a chance as well. There's a lot of stuff that I'm a part of that I do. If you were here for me or for someone else that you saw today, again, just thank you for checking it out, and I hope to see you again. But until next time, I'm Gabriel Fast, and I'll always be the Wannabe Critic.